Well, I want to begin this video by saying how much I appreciate everyone who has subscribed already. I just started this channel. I was over on TikTok and had grown a decent size of followers on that page or that platform. But then I moved and they kind of shadow banned my account. I don't think it's because of any content I posted, but because I moved to a different country and it's not sharing my videos on the For You feed page. So I decided to come over to YouTube and begin sharing some of these videos. And I also want to say I appreciate everyone who comments and leaves a reply, especially if you like and reply, share the video if you think it is a benefit or a blessing to you. And if you disagree, I am happy to read your comments and give a rebuttal to maybe your disagreement and discuss. So let's start with this comment from Zeke. He begins by saying, "Kindly, sir, you do not know what you're talking about. You need to do more research." Now, I am always of the opinion that we need to do more research. That assumes that I don't do research before I make my videos, and I do attempt. Obviously, I'm going to get things wrong here and there, but I will do research, and I will gladly receive correction when I make an error in either a statement, factual statement, or even an error in judgment in what I conclude. And so let's go ahead and look at the actual content of this comment. He says that it's not a competition between Jesus and Muhammad. So actually what I'm presenting in the video is a comparison between the Sunnah of Jesus and the Sunnah of Muhammad, especially since the claim is by the followers that these men were the greatest example for all of humanity to follow. And so if we should follow Jesus and he is the greatest example, then let's compare him to someone else who claimed to be a prophet, and it is said of him that he also is the greatest example. Because you can't have two that are the greatest. There can only be one who's at the top. And so we are going to compare. I guess you could call it a competition if you want, but it's not really to prove one is better than the other. It's simply to come to an objective conclusion that one claim is true and the other is not, which I guess by implication would mean that one is better than the other. Zeke goes on to say that it is also not a competition between the Quran and the Bible. No, it's not either. Okay. But he then makes a claim that kind of seems contradictory. He says Muslims accept the revelation that was given to Jesus, but unfortunately that revelation is no longer with us. There's no evidence that it's been preserved, which means Muslims can't accept what doesn't exist. You can't say you believe or claim to believe something that doesn't exist. Okay. Your next statement is simply astonishing in light of the fact that you told me that I didn't do enough research myself. Okay. You say the Bible is a biography of Jesus written by anonymous authors over 400 years after the life of Jesus? I mean, I'm wasting my time and my breath even responding to this. This is so incredibly off. I mean, the facts are easily researchable. Friend, you failed to do any research at all. You don't even know what the Bible is, let alone who wrote it and when it was written. And so I would encourage you, based on this comment alone, this sentence alone, friend, in all sincerity, please do some research. Then say that the Torah sent down, which is part of the Bible, by the way. The Torah is part of the Bible. You say the Torah and the Gospel, that they were lost. Lost? Like, who said that? Where's your evidence that they were lost? Were they corrupted? Well, where's your evidence they were corrupted? Your own Quran claims that the Jews had the Torah and the Christians had the Gospel with them that they could consult to affirm the supposed claim that Muhammad was predicted in the Quran, in the Bible, that is the Torah, and in the Gospels. So there's a major problem, a major dilemma that Muslims have, and you're just glossing over it by repeating and regurgitating the most simplistic version of dawah apologetics and polemics possible. I mean, this is so elementary that it's like I said, almost not even worth the time to respond to, but I am, because I am concerned for your soul, because it is evident in your comment that your entire faith system is built on lies and deception. Lies about the scriptures and deception about what a true prophet is. Now, you make the claim that God failed in ensuring that his word would be preserved until Muhammad came along. It's either one or the other. Either God can ensure that his word remains preserved, or he can't. He's not going to decide thousands of years after the revelation of the Torah and 600 years after the gospel of Jesus Christ. God's not going to suddenly decide, well, I guess this time I'll ensure that it's preserved. And how was it preserved? What did Muhammad write down? He's the one who received the revelation, right? He didn't write anything down. You're trusting men who claim to have memorized what he received and then wrote it down, scratched it on rocks, and put it on animal skins. You're trusting them that when Uthman compiled it and burned the ones that didn't, agree with, from legitimate sources, by the way, like Ibn Masud, when he burned his manuscript and kept his codex, kept his version, and standardized the Quran to ensure unity and preservation, all he did was ensure that his version would become the official version of the Quran. He did not give you any assurance that he got it right. Ibn Masud resisted at first his version of the Quran and eventually acquiesced, because to reject what is officialized and standardized, your life is put in jeopardy, right? So to maintain political power and religious power, you need to agree with the standard. Christianity didn't do that. Christianity was not concerned so much with the standardization of the text, but the wide distribution of the text. And so when the Gospels were written, they were widely distributed and read among Christian communities. The authorship of these books are attested to by men who were friends and disciples of the apostles as early as the first century. We have writings preserved in the works of Eusebius telling us that men like Papias, he claimed that Matthew was the one who wrote a gospel in the Hebrew dialect, most likely Aramaic, which eventually was translated into Greek, which is the manuscript we have today, the copies we have today in the Bible. He says Mark was an interpreter for Peter. And so he was a first-hand witness, Peter, who was the source for Mark's account. And so we have eyewitness accounts, and we have affirmation that in the early days of the church, it was widely accepted who wrote these books. Not only because the books were widely distributed, but because the apostles themselves were itinerant preachers. They would go from church to church. They would travel the known world at that time, affirming that indeed these books were written by them. And so there is plenty of evidence that points to the fact of that we know who wrote these and authored these books. Okay, you're going to listen to atheistic and modern scholars to affirm your position because that's what you want. You want the Bible to be corrupt. Ask yourself, why do I want the Bible to be corrupt? What is it about it? What is it about the scriptures that I need it? I need it to be corrupt. I need the gospel to be lost. What is it about it? I think you know the answer, if you're honest. But then again, your comments here are extremely dishonest, and it's either intentionally or of no fault of your own. But they're wrong. And I would, like I said, go back and do more research. Appreciate it.